So the concept of homing or sound, we got it with this, and it kind of forces you to vibrate at a certain, or feel a certain emotion. So does the chanting. So the idea is we try to overpower the senses so it can drop down into a level of calm. I think that one way to do that is with closing the eyes at night or wearing shade. Sometimes we'll use oils, essential oils, to overwhelm the nose into smelling and eliciting a response, like an emotional response. Kind of like selling a house. You bake bread because people that smell the bread, they immediately think back to when mom would make, well, I don't know if mom makes bread anymore, but for us, if I smell rice in the house, it reminds me of home. When you smell lavender, when you smell sandalwood, it calms you. Those of you who have problems at night sleeping, in addition to the points that Renee had mentioned, sometimes you use lavender. Lavender on your chest, lavender on your soles, on your pillow. That way, anytime you wake up, you just roll over and it stimulates that brain. Feel, too. We're going with feeling. You're aware of how you feel in the seats. You're aware of how your feet feel in the shoes. We kind of take that stuff for granted, but when you slow down and be in the present moment by turning off all the stimulus, it makes you be aware of these things that give you the natural healing that we forgot about. Breath is the most important thing. Out of all the systems, the cardiovascular system, the neurological system, the respiratory system, urogenital, the one that we can control is breath. And when you can control it, you can actually affect the change in the body. So we're going to do one more breath exercise. This is one that Andrew Weil is where I learned integrative medicine. And he talks about 4-7-8. Does anybody do 4-7-8 breathing already? So 4-7-8 breathing. This is where you're going to be able to control. Again, no medicines used, but hopefully you'll feel pretty decent at the end of this thing. Everybody has an inhale and everybody has an exhale, whether you're a beginner or a master at this. So we're going to try to get in sync now. So everybody kind of just empty your breath out through the nose. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Use your shoulders though. And let it out through the nose. Sometimes when you use your shoulders, it allows more volume. In again, ears, and out. And you can feel the trapezius muscles working if you have tight traps. In again, shoulders to ears. Out. You're going to change it up a little bit with a pause. In again, shoulders to ears. Pause, but while you're pausing, bring your shoulders back. And exhale and bring them down. In again, shoulders to ears. Pause. Bring them back. Squeeze shoulders together. Exhale, let them go. Recoil. In again. Unison. Bring them back. Exhale, let them go. Every time you do this, go a little stronger, a little tighter. Inhale again. Squeeze the muscles, pause, bring them shoulders back, just like you're working. Exhale, recall. 2 more times. One more big one. Contract up. Chest, heart chakra out. And recoil. And just sit and let your breath take over as it was before. So that exercise, all the exercises that we were taught, usually if you can instill something of a change, 5 to 10 minutes at night, 5 to 10 minutes in the morning, you can get hopefully the same emotion that you got here today. Even if you don't get it, it's okay, but usually what I do is try to have you practice something for about 21 days. 21 days straight usually develops a ritual. When you have a ritual, it's not so hard to do. When you go to the gym, when I say go to the gym, sometimes when you're in my office I say work out. You're in the office, you're inspired to work out. When you get home, all the bills come and the time is too short and your kids are crying. And it's like, I had a young person come in the other day, and it's better to do this in the morning when you're waking up than to get your backpack going, head out the door to go to the gym. But if you do it for 21 days straight, it becomes a ritual. It's effortless. You just go and do it. And as soon as I walk into the gym at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, even though I drag myself there, I know there's benefit, because within 30 minutes of high-intensity interval training, I know I'm going to feel good. Same thing, you can do that at home without even leaving. Just to do a 5-minute practice of whatever you want to try, or a 10-minute practice, whether it's movement, or breath, or mantra recitation, or mudras. The idea is to make a change and have it effective. So for those of you who didn't get, did anybody feel anything out of all of the teachers that came up? Responsiveness of some sort? You try to remember how you feel right now and take that nugget with you, because when you go home and try to reproduce this in the morning, it might be frustrating because you're going to hear all the sounds and everything. You're going to think, who's making that noise, or why is this body part cramping? But if you can remember how you felt today, and we just practiced breath and movement, we didn't do anything else, and you try to reproduce that 5 minutes to 10 minutes twice a day on a routine basis for 21 days straight, hopefully you can grab onto it. For those who didn't grab on or don't grasp it, what you can do is, I like hiking. I like to go out in the forest preserve. I have to like national forest, but there's no national forest here. There's forest preserves, and our tax dollars pay for it. But if you put yourself into a forest preserve and you just sit there for about 5 minutes, it's called Japanese forest bathing. Within 30 minutes, you'll start to have a change. If you just sit there, turn off your phone, and just stand in the woods. We found that also, if you can't get any of the stuff that we showed you, that in silence with you unplugging will make a change. But you have to do it on a regular basis. That's going to be the problem. So if you can't do what we talked to you about here, if it's too hard to get to a forest preserve, I do have one other way. Do we have any pet owners in here? Carol? So one other way is you get with an animal. So Brody is our service dog at the hospital. And Brody and Carol, they help people make changes. Sometimes if you, for those of you who had dogs, you know that unconditionally hey Brody, unconditionally a pet will always give you love and will make you feel good. Downward facing dog. Right? And with that, even if he's tired, even if you're tired, if he's tired, you get home at 11 at night, they're still willing to give you energy back. You use him in the cancer centers, or?
We come here to Sherman Hospital, and we're assigned to the cardiac unit. So we come every couple weeks, and you know, it's just a lot of fun, because it's always fun to see when I knock on somebody's door and they look up and I introduce myself, and they kind of look like, who are you and what do you want? And the minute I say I'm here with my dog Brody and they look down and see him, it's a totally different look on their face. And you can see, with many people anyway, a physical change. You know, their face, they smile. It's like I described to the doctor, it's like a melting. You know, you can just see their body kind of melt, and they're always happy to see the dog. Much more than they're happy to see me, but we go in and then we spend some time with the patient, and often their families too. And I like to, you know, I think it benefits many people here. They seem to enjoy it, and we enjoy it. Brody enjoys it. Right? He knows the word hospital. All I have to do is tell him we're coming to the hospital. Right? And he gets excited.
So that so he was sitting here for the longest time, and he was very good.
He's trained in obedience, and he's used to going places with me. He's pretty much my companion dog and goes everywhere with me. Everywhere that I'm allowed to take a dog. It's hard to leave the house without.
Well, that's the benefit. If it's still hard for you to have your own practice, sometime you can borrow Carol's dog, Brody.
We go to school sometimes, and kids read to Brody. So, yeah, there are a lot of places for the dogs to go.
So the idea would be, if you can't get your own practice, or you're finding it very difficult, don't be frustrated. But sometimes if you can get to have an animal, or if you spend time with your animal, how many times, it's like, oh, I gotta go sleep, you gotta go feed yourself. If you spend time with the animal, slow down. It forces you to slow down, just like nature forces you to slow down. If you can't get it. If you can get it, then you use the valuable lessons the other teachers have shown you today. But thanks, Carol, I appreciate it. Mia, want to come up front? Renee? So that is kind of our talk for today. The idea was to put together at least practice, or at least present you with different ways to practice. It's all up to you. And we've just given you a touch of a little bit of Chinese, a little bit of Indian, a little bit of just practical nature therapy. But there's always different ways to do it. You just have to investigate or commit. But all of us can guarantee you that if you commit to a change and you feel it, you'll have at least tried another approach to keep you safe, keep yourself safe. The theme was always empower yourself. And if you're seeing my specialist, maybe we have to send you to a specialist, that's okay. But don't just take the medicines we give or the surgeries we do. You should really still get the healing process down. And even if you're not my patients, if you haven't been given that opportunity, demand it. But you might have to seek out the right ones. There's so much information on the internet, and it's confusing. So hopefully you were able to benefit from something today. And I also want to say thanks to Megan with her Young Living essential oils. That's also the important thing, and Kathy with David's tea. But if you have problems trying to ground or develop your own program, ask one of us, or get a dog, or try to use the oils. Use those things. Turn on the nose, turn on the ears, calming. When we talked about the mudras, it talked about, it's almost like, if you sit here, I know a lot of people would think, what's that mean? It's nothing. But you would think that there's no power in this, right? But then, sorry, but if you go like this all day long, if I do this in the mall, that's going to elicit an emotional reaction, right? Just the same emotional reaction, I can get into a fight if I go into the mall or in the gym, just by doing that. But just as powerful is this. Just as powerful as the practice of breath. So there is a lot of power in what we showed you today. Just try to develop it. That's all I wanted to do, is just show you some ways in, if you haven't been there before.